Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the new channel. If you didn't know, I have another channel called James Jr., which is the main channel. So if you haven't already, it's in the subscriptions. Just go check that channel out because that is the main channel. Now, if you came from the main channel here, thank you. If you're just a Gonzaga fan like I am, well, welcome because I just I've been thinking about making this for the past couple days and I've been very, very excited. And I figured we had to start the video out right with talking about how the Gonzaga Bulldogs are the #1 ranked team for out of all college basketball in the country. And Gonzaga is not like a state school. It's not a public school like Michigan State or Kentucky or states like that or schools like that that are just giant schools. Gonzaga is a really small school in Spokane, Washington, which it's it's not very big at all. It is still a college, obviously, so it is like college size, but it's not like a huge, huge college. And I know Duke is a private school, but Duke is kind of known to be giant, and Gonzaga's always been, like, in my mind, forgotten. And Gonzaga's had some pretty solid players come out of there uh, that have been, like, just underestimated, and people underlook Gonzaga a lot. Like, NBA Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards of all time, John Stockton, who leads the NBA to this day in assists by a huge margin and steals by a huge margin. No one's ever going to catch him in either of those. They also have a player that made the All-Star team this year in Domantas Sabonis of the Indianapolis Pacers. Another very, very solid player, and he is in so many trade rumors, which I don't understand. Like, they're deciding between him and Miles Turner, and it always seems like they want to trade Sabonis, which does not make any sense to me because as soon as Sabonis was out for the playoffs, they got swept by the Heat first round. Like, it wasn't even, it just looked like they were just absolute trash. So I don't understand why they would trade their all-star for a player, or trade their all-star and keep a player that has always been looked at, in the Pacers' eyes at least, as underperforming because they expected him to be very good. These jerseys popping up, like the pictures popping up on the screen right now, are what the new Gonzaga jerseys are going to look like this year. They've changed them up. This is just like the regular one. I don't really like these plain white ones that much. I like the other ones that said Go Zags on the back. I thought they looked really cool. These ones do look a little more breathable though, so they might be like more comfortable to wear as a player. And then also other players that we've had that have just been solid is all rookie first team Brandon Clark, and I believe all rookie second team Rui Hachimura. Two other really, really great players out of Gonzaga. Really solid starter players. Brandon Clark would be a starter on most teams, but isn't on the Grizzlies because of Jaren Jackson Jr., who the Grizzlies took with the #2 overall pick. So at this point, they're not going to start Clark over Jaren. But he is a great sixth man for the Grizzlies. And then there's just a couple other players that aren't great. We also have like Kelly Olynyk, who's another great role player for the Miami Heat, who went to the finals this year, did very, very well. A lot of people look at his contract as too big of a contract, but I really don't think it is. I feel like the Heat put him in a really good situation to make him worth as close to his contract as possible, even if he's not quite worth all of it. He's a pretty good center that can like pop out and play more of a power forward role, shoot a lot of threes. And I felt like he played very, very well in the playoffs, or in the finals at least. He scored like 27 points in one of the finals games, which was pretty crazy. And then there's just some other bench players like Nigel Williams-Goss for the Utah Jazz, Jonathan Williams for the Wizards, who gets some minutes here and there. And then Zach Norvell, who was on the Warriors and the Lakers this year, but at the end of the season wasn't on a team. And Jeremy Pargo, who's on the Warriors for a little bit as well, but end of the year was not on a team either. And I guarantee you I forgot about someone. I don't know who. Oh, Zach Collins, another very, very good player who I believe started once he came back from his injury for the Trailblazers. Even though the Trailblazers he didn't play that many games once they came back because they lost in 5 to my favorite NBA team, the Los Angeles Lakers. And here is also another jersey that I don't know if it's completely official yet, but I love this jersey. It's supposed to be the alternate jersey for Gonzaga this season. Um, and I really, really like it. I always thought like teams should make their logo just straight up logo. It shouldn't say any words on it like that. And I'm a big, big fan of this jersey. Um, if you guys didn't know, I was supposed to go to the NCAA tournament in Spokane, Washington last year, and I guarantee you Gonzaga would have been there because if they would have got the 1 seed, you get to play as close to home as possible, and Spokane, Washington is their home, so they would have got to play there. And so I probably would have got to see them. But as you all know, COVID canceled March Madness altogether. It was supposed to just make it with no fans, which would have made me so sad to watch it from home. But then they canceled it altogether, so I did not get to go watch that at all. Uh, and yeah, I'm really excited for this Gonzaga season because I think they have very, very high potential. Like, remember that Gonzaga has never won a national championship. Since I've watched Gonzaga, the first year I watched Gonzaga was David Stockton's senior year. And if you don't know who David Stockton is, he's spent some time playing with the Kings, the Jazz. He's got some summer league preseason minutes with the Lakers. He's just kind of been all around. He's been signed by a ton of different teams. He's in the G League for the Kings, I believe, right now, and then he's playing some overseas ball too. But we did lose Killian Tilly, which Killian Tilly's been on Gonzaga for 5 seasons, so it's going to be weird not seeing him on the court. He's probably going to get drafted second round, late draft pick. I really don't think he's going to be too great of a player in the NBA because of how slow he is, especially on the perimeter. I don't think he'll be that good of a defensive perimeter player. So I don't expect him to really be in the NBA that long. And then we also have lost Philip Petrusev. That is a huge one. And if you guys didn't know, I actually met Philip Petrusev one time in a Walgreens, which is so weird. Him and an ex-Gonzaga player, I don't know if you guys remember him, he actually ended up transferring. He was only with Gonzaga for 1 season. Greg Foster Jr., who was like a guard player. And they were just both in Walgreens, and I got their autographs and pictures with them. You've probably seen that in there's pictures of it somewhere in a James Jr. video somewhere back, and you'll probably see a picture eventually, sometime in the future. But I am like, those are two very big hits. If you don't know, like, it's impossible for Philip Petrusev to come back now. I believe he was only a sophomore, and he would have made it to the NBA. I'm telling you, he last season was so good, but he ended up playing European ball, and he actually just recently took his name out of the draft, so he's not even like gonna leave the European ball if he gets drafted, because he just took his name out of the NBA draft, which is kind of disappointing because I love seeing Gonzaga players play in the NBA. Because we only have, I think, 7 of them right now. We did have 9 at one point this season, but we don't right now. Now it's down to 7 because Jeremy Pargo and Zach Norvell aren't in the league anymore. But we also have some very promising players like Corey Kispert, who came back and probably could have made it to the NBA. Joel Ayayi, who I'm telling you guys, early season prediction, he is going to be a star. He is getting drafted next season. No doubt in my mind. Corey Kispert going to get drafted too. But Joel Ayayi, I am very, very high on Joel Ayayi. He is going to be something special. I know he looks clumsy at times, and I can see that, but remember how Rui Hachimura was at the beginning of his start with Gonzaga. I know his freshman season, I remember him blocking someone, running the full court, and dunking it on a player. And that's when I was like, that's it. That guy's amazing. And I know Rui couldn't speak English, so he couldn't understand the plays yet, and that's why he didn't play much. But I really, really think Joel Ayayi will figure out his clumsiness and become a very, very helpful player. And then another player is this player right here, Timmy, who played very, very well off the bench last year behind Petrusev. I think he will play very, very well as well. I think he has potential, maybe not next season, but probably the one after that, to make it to the NBA as well. And then we have Jalen Suggs, who is a very high recruit from high school, and he'll probably be a one-and-done player. So there's 3 players right there that will probably get drafted next year. Jalen Suggs is obviously, I think he's a point guard. He's a guard. I know that for sure. And uh, expected to be really well. Oh, another player we lost. I forgot. I don't know how I didn't mention this. Ryan Woolridge, our point guard, who I thought was pretty good, but it doesn't seem like he's going to get any NBA attention. Maybe some summer league, but not too much. And then we just have other players like, I believe, I don't know how to pronounce it, Armaro Ball, who's a very, very good player. I think he's from Africa. I think he will be a big contributing factor, maybe starting center, either him or Timmy probably. But it was like signing day today or yesterday or something. But there's a ton of new players that got signed. I don't know if they're going to be huge contributors or not, but counting on them. And I'm just so excited to see what happens this season with all these new players, new jerseys, everything new, and just we could win the national championship this year. Ever since I've watched, when I first started watching, they had only made it to the Elite Eight once. That was the farthest they've ever made it. And then a couple years later, when Kevin Pangos, I believe it was when he was a senior or junior. I don't know. I think it was senior year. Kevin Pangos' senior year. Oh yeah, it was his senior year because he was a junior when David Stockton was a senior. So it would have been the year after I first started watching. He made it to the Elite Eight, and that was only the second time they'd ever made it to the Elite Eight. And then they made it to the national championship and lost against North Carolina, which I blame 100% on Shamit Karnowski, one of my favorite Gonzaga players ever, but he scored 2 points, and I believe they were free throws in that entire game, and we lost by 2. Nigel Williams-Goss missed a jumper or like a runner shot for the win or for the tie, but I don't blame that on him. And Nigel Williams-Goss is in the NBA. Shamit Karnowski is not and never has been. So I think it's safe to say that we have a shot this year. I know Baylor almost got the number 1 pick or number 1 highest voting, but they didn't. And I'm just excited to see what happens this season. Comment down below anything you would like. Subscribe to the channel because it is very brand new. We only have 1 subscriber at the moment of this recording, which is James Jr. channel. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.